what a game one coming out from Disguise, managing to take the win over Fear to start things off as well. I know on that little break, we got to catch up with the series happening over on the other broadcast. We're just apparently this is a banger type of day. I don't know.
That was a 40-minute game between AOE and TL. I'm not going to spoil it. We're not going to do any spoilers. Go watch that stream if you want to see what happened. But yeah, we're in that kind of day now.
Yeah, it's very much so. If you don't have two monitors, then you might be online trying to order yourself another one because stuff is good out here. But while we wait for our second game and our banger of a series, we do have our Rally Cry halftime show. I know something that we talk about with our teams and the players is synergy. So for today with you two, I wanted to see where your guys' synergy was at and play our newly duo game. So I'm going to be asking one-person questions about the other person. This isn't your opinions. You're trying to guess what the other person would most likely think to test how well you two really know each other.
Wait, so how'd you get these questions?
All right.
Because you didn't ask me anything.
No, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask the question now. And
Right.
then
Do I have to message you it, or what's the?
No, you can write it on your screen, write it on a little notepad, however you want.
Okay.
And to start things off for this set, Deserex, you are going to be answering questions about Beat. All right?
Ooh. Oh, I'm answering questions about Beat. Okay, I don't need.
Yeah, you don't need anything. Beat has to worry about doing the work and stuff over on that end.
No worries.
All right,
I'm ready.
Beat pre-synergy fist bump.
Of course.
He just
There
wiped
we
his
go.
nose
We're on-
first. That's
we're
right.
on the
He just
same.
wiped his nose first. So
It's
you're
chill.
still gonna...
It's chill. It's chill. He knows.
My hand sanitizer. Oh no.
Where is it? All right. Our very first question, and we're going to keep it about the series and these players, of course, since, we're talking about DSG and Fear here, is who does Beat think was the MVP in that first game? No, Beat, you don't answer. Beat, you don't answer until
I know, but I'm thinking also.
All right, I'm just making sure. I'm making sure. Deserex, you look so sad.
I'm thinking. That's my thinking face.
Thinking face?
Yeah, I'm usually sad when I have to think because thinking's a color caster thing. Play by play's
don't
monkey
get
see.
Okay, I
that.
have my answer. I'm ready.
I'm gonna go with Zazel.
Look at you, Eric. Maybe you do know me. I did pick Zazel.
You gotta pull it up. You gotta pull it up to show. It's
I didn't
the
write.
reveal.
I don't have paper. Nobody told me.
Okay, cool. But you know what? We'll trust in this.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
trust.
I think it's a
But,
trust system.
I don't know what you were doing before broadcast, but hey, it's all good. All right, so congratulations, first one right. And I mean, for this too, if you would explain why a Beat. I know Eric got it right, but yeah, why was MVP in the first match?
I think Zazel just had a great game on Rel. The fact is, he was consistently alongside Fake God able to isolate Manui, or maybe it was Shochi sometimes. The point is, his target selection was really good in every fight, and it looked like every time he just picked the right person. And this is what we talk about with Zazel, why he's the best support.
Yeah, I think the two Dragon fights pretty much secured Zazel the MVP right there. Because it was two picks back to back, right? One was Minui, next Dragon fight, the next one is Shochi. There you go, you pretty much won the game for Disguise.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. All right, for our next question, out of the players we have here in the series, which player is going to be the next to make it to LCS? Because, of course, this is developmental.
Ooh.
We're looking at the player's growth. Who is the next one to make it there? We're looking sooner rather than later.
I got one on my mind. All right.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Do I think it's going to be that? I think it's going to be them. You know what?
That's the difficult part, because you can think about who has the potential, but this is who's making it there next.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard. Okay, yeah, I got my answer.
Right.
All right. I think this is way too safe, but it's also kind of true, Fake God.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, I mean, it is what I think. I was gonna say something like, "Oh, maybe I should make it harder," but it's just literally just my opinion. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Fake God. I think he's had a good year after not making it back into LCS, and he was one of the best top laners last split. He's easily the best top laner right now.
And even in the games where they're losing, he's still putting up some of the best laning and combat stats.
Yeah.
He's a beast, man. He's an absolute beast.
He'd be pretty good. He's pretty good at the game. So
He's kind of good.
a 2 for 2 so far, so congratulations there, Desiree. Good stuff. Now, specifically that last question, good dance moves, good dance moves.
This is going to be awful because I'm just going to get all the questions wrong when it's my turn. This is going to be just the worst.
That's specifically why we're doing that in
Yeah,
this
that's what
order.
Josh did.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're waiting for the heartbreak. We're waiting for the heartbreak. So, next question, because we specified the last was the first person to make it to LCS or like the next person. This one is who you think has the most potential, who is going to be going the farthest throughout their entire league career. Might not be next year, might not be in the next like couple, but overall, who is going to be like the next like person that like the next.
So this is like long-term growth.
Yeah, we're looking at the long con now.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let me give you think for this one.
Who has the most potential?
Yeah.
You're a color caster. This
So
is
when
what
you
you're
say
supposed to
most
do. You're an
potential,
analyst.
when you say most potential, does that mean like even if they're how do I explain it right now? Are you saying the most growth or they're going to peak the highest in their career?
Like peak the highest. Like
Okay,
who's going to
okay.
be like that person that like you
The highest.
turn on whatever and just everybody knows who they are.
I got one on my mind. I don't think I'm gonna get it right this time though.
You're thinking of like what Beat's thinking before he even can get there. You know?
That would be really terrifying if you like got the answer. I haven't even decided yet.
All right. Beat, we gotta. As much fun as it is to just sit here and watch you think.
All right. I kind of got one. I'm less sure about this one, but
Okay.
wait, nope. I'm changing my answer. Nope, I'm keeping my answer. Okay.
Are you good?
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Okay.
This is great.
Okay. Are you good?
Yeah, good. Answer's
Good,
done.
dude.
Hands off the keyboard.
Meech.
Oh no, I thought about Beach.
Who was it?
I put Perry.
Oh, that's a fair one. That's a fair one.
Yeah.
I like
I mean,
that.
I think Meech was a good shout too. I don't know. I picked Perry partially because I think he's grown a lot. Because I remember when he first joined Wildcard Developmental, dude was a Kane one trick. I think he's come really far since then. He's still a young player. You talk to him in interviews, you talking to him before his matches. He's very motivated as well. And I think you put those together, it's usually a player who goes the distance.
Quick
That's
reminder.
my thought process.
What was it? Him or Perry that did the spreadsheet? I mean, I'm sorry, Perry or Winnie that did the spreadsheet?
Neither. It was Yuji.
It was Yuji who did the spreadsheet?
Are we talking about the jungle matchups?
No, not the jungle matchups. It was like it was a whole like review of every match in every solo queue game. I forget who it was, but
I
we'll
don't
bring that
know.
up later if it was Perry.
We'll look that up. We'll look that up on the next break there. We got a couple more questions to be going through before we get into
Oh,
our
I thought that
game
was the
two
last
here.
one. Okay, yeah. Go.
Yeah, no, we still got a little more time. So a couple more chances for Deserex to improve the score here. So in that game one, what was Beat's favorite moment of that match? Team fight,
Ooh.
still like what was
I already know what it is.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
I
Let's pressure
gotta
on
think about
Deserex
this.
now.
I gotta think about this a little bit. I want to think about.
I think he can guess it. I have faith.
I have a feeling of what it is, but
Make it worse when I
can do
answer
it.
all the questions wrong later, Eric. You can do it.
You
no,
can do it. We believe in you. He do be thinking over there.
Oh my goodness! I'm trying to remember what happened at the last Baron fight. Okay, so your favorite play of the game? Does
Yes.
that necessarily mean the winning team?
No, I don't interpret it that way.
Okay. I want to say it's the mid lane fight when Minui got off his ultimate. Fake God dived back, and Fear were able to just barely scrap out a win on that. It
No,
was like a 2-for-1.
I'm sorry. That wasn't it.
Oh.
was it?
My favorite moment was actually second dragon fight. Was it second dragon fight? Or it was the third dragon fight.
Was it the Shochi catch?
It was the Shochi catch. I thought
that
that
was
was
my
awesome. I like when teams do that because when you recognize, okay, their vision setup was great because you know Shochi on this Ari is looking to come from a different angle. So you set it up and you make the call. Zazel or whoever see Shochi on his own. way too far from his team, you just blow him up before he can even do anything. I really like that
I should
play.
have known. I should have absolutely known because we called Zeyzal the MVP. I was thinking that, but I was afraid
that's why I thought you'd have it.
It felt like doubling up on answers. That's the only reason I didn't answer it.
You gotta trust your gut next time.
I should have.
You started off on a high note, and then it kind of went south. Hopefully it doesn't for Disguise in the series, as we do have our game at 2. They're up 1 in the series so far. Let's see if they can keep that continuing, or if the tie curse is going to return yet again, as it's time for our draft, and time for me to say goodbye.
You know what? I did it for Disguised. I got the perfect 50-50 for Disguised, who are currently the master of ties. What, they came into this week like 7-7? That's why I did it.
Oh, you knew. You
knew.
just knew all along.
It's a tactical in.
You know what? I'm proud of you, Eric. That's all I can say.
Okay, when it comes to this next draft beat, I feel like it's more into Fear's hands to find the adaptations, because last time Disguise just drafted something where Fear could not get an answer. They would jump in, and what happens? They either get denied at the team fight or they get denied at the setup.
Yeah, that fight was brutal. Sorry, those team fights were brutal. Fear really didn't have many ins. Again, that burden of execution was incredibly high. So going into this next game, hopefully they pick something. Maybe they go for something a little simpler. Is
like
what I'm kind of
band.
hoping for here. The Ivern, good champ, get it out of here. The rest of the bands, they make a lot of sense. You still you want to deny that safe Ari blind there for Young. He plays it a lot as well. And now I'm looking to see what Fear are really going to do. Philip, that's not real. You can't fool me.
Not real.
No.
The ultimatum cannot hurt you. It's not that meta beat. Don't worry.
I mean, I haven't seen anyone play Camille this split, so.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Camille's been.
Let's see, but Kindred.
But this is something that's a lot more common.
Everybody
now,
plays
gets locked
Kindred.
in.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. Perry's had some great games. You saw the tweet, either Deserex edit or the original. You got a pentakill on this pick the other day, and the comms were pretty funny. So I say go check out Perry Jungle on Twitter.
I want to correct something. If any of you do see that edit, it's on my Twitter. There was the penta. That's Philip. The is actually Shochi.
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
funny.
he damned me to correct me on that one.
That's great. He's like, hey man, I'm the one making the crazy comms. Put some respect on my name.
And speaking of craziness, Zeyzal's going to be on the rel again. We're going to get some crazy engages part 2. He's able to pull off something similar to what we had in game 1, but we know how comfortable he is on it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of great angles coming through from Zeyzal on this pick, but I think it's probably going to be fine because it's very strong, but without the Ivern from what we saw earlier, the bush control, the created bush control from Tomio was really strong. So this time around, they're going to pair it up with the Sejuani. And the point still being that you want to layer things.
Yes.
You layer your CC, blow people up before they can react.
And it is such a powerful engage for Disguise, locked in very, very early on. I want to see what they're going to follow up with to try and supplement some damage in for this composition, but it's already a great start coming out from them. Now, this is something that Fear have been so willing to lean into the moment we switch from 13-11 to 13-12. That is the Ziggs. They do like taking a little bit more of these quirky picks in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's bottom lane, mid lane. That's the nice thing, too. Cincinnati Fear in the past have had some pretty great drafting ability in the way that they're able to flex a lot of picks between Shochi and Manui. It's the Ziggs, it's the Vigar, which I mean is playable at the moment, which is an exciting one.
And even Varus that they did yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these unique picks, unique style that they're able to bring. You see it in what DSG banned first, the Seraphine. They're the only team in 2023 in Challengers who have Seraphine banned against them because it's a strong champ that they're willing to play and flex around.
There we go. The Silas was left up on the final R3.
Yeah.
With that Alistair locked in, that is a big ultimate to steal away.
Yeah, that ends up being really nice for DSG. You gotta pick the Alistar. It's just that natural response to the rel that we've seen pop up since this patch change. And because of that, DSG have that opportunity to counter. So this means that Fear, they do have range, they do have poke, and they want to probably get something on the tankier side just to be able to frontline a little bit so they can eat some of this damage that DSG are likely going to throw their way.
Now, the only thing for the first phase of this is a very short-range comp coming out from Disguise so far, with some very powerful engage onto that. We'll see what the bottom lane ends up locking in to try and expand onto this damage that Disguise really need to start tapping into. For the opposite end, for Fear, they do have some pretty good presence already locked in for that. I mean, you talked about it earlier, the pentakill parry was able to grab Kindred Scales well, and Ziggs is just a menace. You leave him alone for too long with the turret, and that turret is ash.
Yes. And the thing I'm looking at too now is that we're seeing 80 carries banned away. I mean, the Varus is just as much Shochi as Manui. I will say that. But I'm really hoping we see Manui be the one to pilot the Ziggs. Something he struggled with in the last game was on this Misfortune. Low mobility, very easy to capitalize on, and was never able to 1v2. The opposite is true for a champion like Ziggs. It is going to free up JJ a little more to be able to get around the map and not have to worry about his 80 carry as much here. But DSG, and we're seeing the Kaisa come through. It's another pick that's shot up in priority. Great team fighting ability with that killer instinct and scales pretty well.
This tells me that... Yeah, this tells me that Disguise are just looking to dive all the way into the backline and tear apart Fear from the get-go. So the good response from Fear would be locking in the Xayah right here because it handles a lot of that deep engage well.
It does, and the Cassante, which is up, surprisingly, to this stage of the game, is also going to end up being a big one, just because of the fact that, I mean, one, works as a front line, but can also be that backline threat. So if you have Meech flying in with the killer instinct, or Young, whoever's trying to get onto your backline, it just makes Cassante's job that much easier.
Waiting for this final lock-in now.
It's gonna be it's gonna just be an 80 carry. You can't fool me. You can't fool me.
Are they about to?
Oh, I lied. They fooled me. What? It's Garen.
They fooled you. They fooled you.
Wait, okay. This is good though, because this comp actually just feels terrible for DSG to jump into, and that's what this whole thing is built up for. You look at every champion, they want to move forward at full speed, and Fear's like, all right, well, we'll just draft a brick wall. So,
don't worry, I'm a Beyblade. Jump into me, bro.
Yeah, please, I'm begging you. And that's why Fiora, that's an exciting one. Still, same problem. Good on Fear this time around for adapting.
Yeah, it's definitely a good read from Fear. And of course, they still have some very, very solid scaling to take them into later stages. Like, you've taken a mage into the bottom lane, but you've supplemented it by taking a marksman over into the jungle role, as well as all this defense and blender ability that Fear have to deal with the dive of Disguised.
Right, that's basically what it is. They're the meat grinder that DSG are going to be jumping into, and that's why the Fiora pivot is very interesting to me. You're going to win inside on both matchups. So in the 1v1, at this point, Fake God, buy Hullbreaker and just keep it pushing on your own, because the rest of the map should look pretty good for Cincinnati Fear, and Fake God might end up being that difference maker. Making plays to the side lane to him is almost certainly what DSG are looking to do. And of course, Tomio, he needs to get this ball rolling, because as time goes on, 5v5, I mean, we talked about it, man. I'm liking Fear's chances.
Yeah, liking their chances, but I will frame this at least in skirmishes. I still like Disguised a little bit more when things are more disjointed, when you can't have the straight out 5v5 and you're fighting in multiple different lanes at the same time. If Disguise can dial in there and go for picks one after the other, then I do like their odds to that regard. But in the pure 5v5, I very much like Cincinnati Fear's odds.
I do. And real quick, of course, we got to get the shout out. If you subscribe right now, not only does 50% of the revenue go to the teams and players, you get 50% bonus Riz. I mean, like, what?
And it gets packaged by Beatdown Boulevard himself.
That's
Sends
right.
it to your house.
Yeah, I'll send it with a card.
Use the hashtag NACL to let Beatdown know that you want some of that Riz as well. And of course, to have your message read up here on the broadcast. Game number 2. Now starting off, Disguise were able to take game 1. A little bit of back and forth, but Disguise mostly in the driver's seat in that game number 1. Now Fear looking for an answer.
So something I want to point out, Shochi on the Garen, I like so much better with this lane matchup. Yeah, so I mean, one, this is terrible for Young. He's going to have literally the worst time ever. Top lane, it's okay. You're going to get outscaled by Fiora, but what matters here for Fear is that in the laning phase, Cassante is pretty strong. He only has like 2 really bad matchups. The rest of them, it's just that question. Can you land Q3? Yes, you're chilling. No, I mean, you're obviously not chilling. But let's say for now, Philip does land the Q3s, does get that prio. Does mean that Fear And Perry is going to have lanes with so much priority, Eric, and he's going to be able to move around the map relatively freely. He's going to have an easy time going for whatever he wants. Invades, objectives, pick something, doesn't matter.
And that's so important for Kindred, given that you're going to have marks spawning all over the place. You want to have control at any given moment, at any given side of the map, so you can claim those marks and get this Kindred rolling. As it is right now, taking a look at the jungle pathings, both sides clearing the red buff side of the map for the time being. I want to see where these junglers are going to end up, especially Tomio, what kind of gank he wants to go for first. Does look like he might be eyeballing an invade, or potentially ganking the top side. It does look like it's the invade.
Poor Perry, deciding for a second whether or not he goes back for that last Raptor. It will respawn, of course, but he decides, forget it. As Tomio is going to full clear top into the invade, and it's actually in these early levels the solo laners of DSG who have the push, and it means we know Kindred needs that priority, because when she doesn't have it, stuff like this happens.
Tomio on the invade, a nice sidestep coming out of Perry. Will still get caught soon enough by the permafrost. Does come through. Young flashes in. Perry's got nowhere else to go. First blood comes out for Disguised.
Oh, really nice pickup there. And it's going to go to Young of all people. That extra gold going to make the laning phase just that much easier. On top of the red buff, we were expecting Fear to be able to bounce back in the early game here. But it's DSG who once again take control.
See right there, Team Rally Cry. It's already happening. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's the Riz. You already sent it to them, B?
I did, yeah, of course.
Okay, plenty of it right there, and plenty of Riz on Tomio right now, who's about to put it on display in Perry's face. Will chase him, follows through, gets the flash, permafrost in the instant, and Perry falls for the second time, getting dominated by Tomio.
Surely they won't invade me twice. Perry, unfortunately proven so very wrong, as that is... As a Kindred, you're so far behind, you're down 0-2. The solo laners of DSG have gotten a kill apiece. And this early game, it couldn't be better, Eric. Literally. The only way it gets better is if members of Fear run into the enemy turret. Like, that's it.
And great play from Tomio to recognize these windows. As we said, it's a player we had questions about. Like, what if you take away these strong lanes of Tomio? What is he going to be? Is he still going to have presence? In this case, it was just the straight up invade. Young had priority over there. Got the flash coming through. Then you flip it into the same exact thing with Fake God. Tomio, man, you know, there's so many times to give criticisms. Now's not one of them. He's shutting the haters up, man.
Very wisely getting value out of the prio. His solo laners, have gotten him. And it's gotten a 1K lead pre-5 minutes, Eric. And it's just been great here. Now Young, that first back is going to be great. He's going to be able to get a good amount of gold here. Lost chapter boots. This laning phase just got so much easier for the mid lane of DSG. And I mean, thank God, he's having a great time. He's going to scale well into late, but we already talked about it. The fact that he is doing so well in this early game as well has been so great for DSG. The only hope is JJ and what he's going to be able to accomplish around the map.
A solo lane start, sitting pretty for Disguised. You can see some of that gold right now. Young, Fake God at the top of the charts alongside Tomio, who's been enabling them. Will use that presence to go ahead and start this Infernal Drake. JJ's not too far off from the location, but Fear want nothing to do with it after those first few skirmishes. Perry just wants to recover.
And he needs to. At this point, he's just going to invade, take away whatever respawn camps that he can hope to grab in hopes that he can catch up. But they're just so far behind. You can see the purchase. Oh
no, JJ picks the wrong time to land the crowd control on Zazel. He hears the dragon at the same time he pops the move, and that is the beginning of the end for JJ.
Oh wow. And you're seeing that purchasing power from Young come through in the mid lane as well. Minui on his own in the 1v2. No. It's all well and good, Eric, but the 1v3, I'm a lot less confident.
Oh, he flashes over to the side. Tower aggro on Zazel. He holds it for long enough for Meech to grab his second kill.
I will say, I think it's kind of crazy that he can flash the Q technically, but he still gets hit by the stun. But that's neither here nor there. Nice dive coming through from DSG. They just continue to advance this early game. Tomio said that he was trying to be more consistent alongside the rest of this team. And today is clearly a step in the right direction. The DSG dominate early in game 1. They decimate early here in game 2. Fear are so far on the back foot.
Put the respect on the name. We hype up Zeyzal, we hype up FakeOdd, but don't forget that Tomio was part of that championship roster. And Tomio right now has influenced every single lane in the game within the first 7 minutes. Absolute great play coming out from Disguised.
That's right. You're seeing Perry start to catch up a little bit in terms of farm, looking to see if he can maybe get some kind of play going. Uh-oh.
Here we go. Shochi focusing on the young while Zeyzal comes in, but it's JJ and Perry that put this in the favor of Fear. Luckily for Disguised, close enough to the turret to stop the advancements. Bulls coming out from Fear, potentially trying to square up for another fight, but things are going to go even.
JJ hanging around just to make sure Shochi is a little more safe and able to just get this wave in here. Now that Young's stolen ultimate has expired, there's a little less danger for Shochi in the mid lane. This has just been brutal. And now Tomio, you can see the pathing he's taking. So aggressive, and it is his to take, because at this point, no one can actually deal with him. He's so far ahead of Perry, who only has that longsword in the inventory right now, and he can just go ahead and start up the Rift Herald.
Perry's jungle is so threatened. Even Zeyzal posturing up to try and scout out where he's going to be moving. With the solo lane power that you have on the side of Disguised, FakeOdd, Young, both doing well. Very, very easy Rift Herald for Disguised to pick up.
Right, even though we're starting to slowly see Perry kind of catch up a little bit here, the damage is done. That's 2 for 2 early objectives. It's kills across the board for DSG and all the right places. Oh, and it's a level 6 Tomio. Please. They know.
They know. Do they know? They know.
They know enough. And that means Tomio can just go ahead and go topside. Perry.
Oh no.
Perry.
I've seen this before.
You know he sees you. Okay.
We don't need a repeat of this. Perry, please play safe. Can't fall any much further behind with the struggles.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, like he really should not. That's what we're trying to get at. Not that he cannot fall more behind.
Gotcha.
Understand me?
Gotcha.
I'm saying, gotta be in the same wavelength. Unfortunately, Minui's not on the same wavelength with JJ. Gets left underneath the tower by himself, and Zeyzal's not even gonna fall. That's a 3rd kill going for the bot lane of Disguised.
All it would have taken was one more tower shot, but really taking advantage of Minui and the fact that his flash is down. Ziggs good at 1v2ing, but Zeyzal is just landing everything here. It's keeping him CC locked for Beach to do the damage. This AD carry is continuously just picking up so much gold. It's going to make these team fights for DSG just that much easier because they're going to reach those item spikes much faster. Already, Meech is coming back to lane with the static shiv. The super fun, cool, balanced item, of course.
And it bodes so well for Disguised, even with the composition of Cincinnati Fear, because you've taken this blender and just dulled out the blades. You've removed the motor. Now you're just hand cranking this thing. You're not going to be making any smoothies out of that. I mean, Disguised, at the moment, they have it exactly where they want it, to the point where Fear can't respond to a lot of the fights they're going to be bringing.
And now, Perry, level 7, at least kept up with Tomio, but is still at 0 marks as the Kindred, which has got to be the worst feeling here at 10 minutes. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Young takes away the Demacian Justice and plants it right in the head of Shochi. Ultimate can be found, and it's a double kill for Disguise.
And the CC lock, so good. No Ivern, no problem. Tomio is running the Rift on the Sejuani. And he won't even drop the Rift Herald here.
Oh, you're kidding me. Disguise are winning all over the Rift right now. Philip, it's a flash away, but it's hard to run away from the distance that FakeOdd can go ahead and collapse in on. Now FakeOdd, we get attacked by JJ. I'll have to deal with the cow, sub 100 health.
No way.
Yeah, there we go. JJ able to bring one back, but you left Minui alone for the 4th time, man. Disguise just keep picking on poor Minui.
Yeah, this has just been a clinic from Disguise. The fact is, you...
Whoa, Shochi. Okay, it dropped the ultimate, doesn't get the kill, but will follow up through with the Beyblade, and now Killer Instinct, Meech, looking for the follow-up, will not fall at the hands of the Garen, gets the chase on to Perry, but Perry will better Meech. Now Philip tries to find Tomio, Blast Plant creates some space, but Cincinnati Fear, After being banged against the wall for oh so long, they finally are able to punch back.
Yeah, but it's just one punch after a flurry of blows coming through from Disguise. Fact is, basically the way to look at this is that, oh, hold on. I mean, Young's fine. He's got...
I mean, that does eventually time out, right?
He's fine.
It's not enough damage.
Yeah, it's a flash, but, like, he's fine, you know? So, the thing I want to talk about, too, is the fact that Tomio has done such a good job of forcing Perry to just only farm. It's basically as if, as far as the laners of Fear are concerned, there is no jungler. There's no one to match Tomio because he's so far behind. There's no one to watch for dives, go for plays of their own. It's just response, which is what they were able to find here. But ultimately, so much of the damage has already been done. To be able to get back into this game is still an insane mountain that Fear has to climb.
Trying to defend this tower. It will still clear the Rift Herald, so mid lane tower does stay up. But Disguised have complete control of the Rift at the moment. They're going to use that control to transfer it over towards the Dragon. Be their second Drake of the game. Each called in that direction. Again, Fear, there's no answer coming out from them.
None.
Still just traditional laning.
And it's just been such a great game again. Like, I really want to praise Tomio for what he's been able to do here in the second game.
Definitely.
Using... Oh, wow.
Yeah, Fake God, nice parry.
Really good.
At the same time that parry arrives.
Yeah.
Hey.
So yeah, I mean, again, want to continue praising Tomio for what he's been able to do in this early game, Eric. The fact that, again, he's the player that we've had those questions about, has a bit of a different situation, just a little bit, compared to what he had on Cloud9 Challengers last split, and is able to put out performances like this, is what we were so excited about when we heard of this player years ago.
Now, Philip trying to survive Fake God. Fake God's just going to solo him. That is brutal right there, and it's only getting worse for Cincinnati Fear. The ultimate comes out of Tomio, locks down JJ. They're going to make a hamburger over there. Meanwhile, Disguise focused to make a sandwich down in the river. Gets returned. Minui will get a shutdown onto Young, but look at how much they lost for it, Beat.
That's what I mean, like, across the map, still down in terms of net gold here. Fear constantly just forced to answer everything that DSG are trying to do. And you'll see this here. I mean, this is why it's so good. Such a good matchup for Fiora. He's so easily able to run down the Cassante. And as far as what's going on here, DSG can move around the map however they please. So being in these neutral parts of the map for Perry is very dangerous, even if this particular skirmish was exchanged 1-for-1.
There's some gold on Minui. We got to get some silver linings going for Cincinnati Fear. It does mean they can wave clear a little bit better. You get some more AP going onto the Ziggs. But at this point, I'm kind of scratching at the bottom of the barrel, Beat. I got to be very honest right there. It's looking kind of doom and gloom.
It's hard, because going into this, just looking at the draft, I expected Fake God to do well. No matter what matchup he played into, he would have been fine. He would have been insane in the side lane and impossible to match. And that was going to be the bright spot. But the matchups that Fear ended up going for opened up this opportunity for Perry to get invaded in the most brutal way possible.
2 of those kills going over in the early game, now fighting in the river. Teleport going to come through. Fake God has joined the fight, and Tomio, permafrost stun onto JJ. Will take him down and claim the Rift Herald.
Gonna be an easy one here. Fear there. Oh.
Going on here, man. Phillip,
I gotta see a replay of that. I think I know what happened, but Philip does find something.
Woo. Right there. I definitely want to see a replay of that one, only catching the back half of it, but still got to feel good for Philip. Now Tomio focuses over on the top side. Now let's watch this. What's going on? Oh, there it is.
Cassante, if you land the Q3, you're chilling, and you're able to knock people under turret just like that. Well played from Philip. Truly a small light in the dark that is game 2 here for Cincinnati Fear.
We're looking for the light, Beat. We want to see development. We want to see progress coming from our players. Teleport coming through, trying to match. Spike going on in the river. Shochi out of the Hex Gate. Gets followed through by Zeyzal. Now here comes Young. Collapses onto Shochi. Minui's on the other side. Can get that poke through to try and win out this fight. Oh, 1-for-1. Mid laner is going to fall. Cincinnati Fear on the back foot now as they look to retreat. Here we go. Rift Herald going to come down. They're looking to find Fake God. Fake God still gets the kill. And it's going to be another one falling as well. I believe that was Killer Instinct from Meech. Finds the money onto Minui. Meech now walking up. Cashing in some of that gold. They want to claim that top lane turret. Not enough of a minion wave there. Two stragglers waiting in the wings, trying to survive this onslaught of disguise, and luckily for them, it's going to come to an end.
And this has just been so good from DSG. Fear trying to find their ways back in, and they're going for some kills, almost trading evenly. But what I like about what DSG are doing is they're keeping the pressure on Eric.
Yes,
Fact
absolutely.
is, when you have a boot to your enemy's throat, you do not lighten up, you press harder. So they've constantly just been pressing Fear and pushing them to the brink here. And this is just one of many examples we've seen so far in this game, a fight on multiple fronts that ultimately, once again, just continues to favor Disguise.
And Beat, this is the Disguise we were promised. As we said in the pre-show, Disguise were #1 on so many different people's tier list right before the season actually started off. This is what we wanted to see from them, a very, very super active Tomio, getting his solo lanes going all the way to the moon to take over this game and get the Disguise stonks up there with Sierra.
And you're seeing the itemization really start to pull through here. To Minui's credit, he's somewhat keeping up with Meech, but if you look at the rest across the board here, so far behind, it takes these insane commitment of numbers to be able to pick up these objective bounties that are up and available now. As Disguise, they're up 5,000 gold. Dragons? No, don't even bother. This is kind of what I was hoping for Fear to do last game, where don't try and fight that soul point, just make a play on the top side, and this is what they're doing, it looks like.
Cincinnati Fear still setting up. Potentially go for a sneaky play onto Fake God. This is starting to feel like desperation, especially the longer they stay here and nothing gets done. Bot lane, Young just took a turret, and Fear still haven't done anything.
Right, and it's just the fact that you have these numbers here topside. Zazel's presence and keeping an eye is what's dissuading Fear, so they aren't even able to really get the trade. At this point, it's going to be full send it, or you lose this dragon for nothing. Another wave is coming, and I'm expecting this to be where Fear finally try and make the play.
They gotta make it, and they gotta make it now. They've spent too much time up here to come up empty-handed, and finally, an objective bounty claimed. One of the great things about having that Ziggs, you can detonate that turret. But what else is to come of this? Because it looks like Disguise want to take this fight, posturing forward. Zazel looking for the engage, finds it onto JJ. Young's able to take the unbreakable, and now Fear want none of this fight. They'll sacrifice their support, but will they find an escape? Fake God wants to make that answer a no. Meech comes in on the flank, and so does Tomio. Disguise are absolutely destroying the Grim Reapers of the NACL under their own turret. They're looking for the full-on ace. Without losing a single member, they will score it.
And it's perfect. 1930. They go 4 for nothing, I should say, as Philip was on the other side of the map the entire time, hoping that they could just get that turret and walk away. Philip's not even going to get this bot turret. That's BM, but that top tier 2, they took too long to go for it, Eric. Young had plenty of time to back and walk up, and that's what kept DSG in it. In the end, the fact that if they did this one wave sooner, there was a real world in which Fear would have been able to walk away. But at this point, they were just on borrowed time, Deserex, when you got a rel chasing you.
See right there, they tried to run as fast as they could. Definitely thought Philip was part of that fight, because this is such a big moment for Cincinnati Fear to try and clutch out if they are going to get away with this. But it's Disguise to respond the better and get even more gold onto their carries. 7 kill apiece for their carries, and they'll look at Avon more as they'll pull Philip away from his team. Nice knockup from JJ, but there's no one there to get the damage in, and Meech will score his 8th kill. Ultimate lands onto the back of JJ, brushes off some of that frost, and looks into the horizon as Disguised are dominating.
Oh, they can just keep going.
Oh, yeah, and keep going. They will beat. Here comes Young looking to take that fight over. Minui will get dropped. JJ trying to provide that protection, but there's no one left to protect but himself, and he can't even do that. Disguise, 3 unanswered kills.
And the last time this happened, the Baron wasn't even up yet, but now at 21 minutes, it is. And DSG are just going to continue picking up their prize, continue stacking the gold into their pockets. The Shochi got an objective bounty. That's kind of cool, right? But it doesn't matter.
Took a while.
Yeah, it took a while, but DSG, they got themselves the Turo Baron buff.
8.8k gold lead, 2 minutes 20 seconds before the dragon comes up. That would be Dragon Soul for DSG. Turo Baron buff acquired by DSG, which means these pushes are going to be that much harder to handle. And it was a short range comp, but you're not that worried given this current moment
Ooh.
when Tomio was making plays to get this team going.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, you just get caught out there. You are not allowed to clear vision at this point in the game. You are so far behind. DSG can pull the trigger whenever they want to, and it's looking like Fear paid the price for it. And also, I mean, I think this is what happens when you're so far behind. Teams just start making some of these smaller mistakes. And when you're forced out like that, contesting that mid wave is about as illegal as a move can get, Eric, and they're punished for it.
Great performance from every single carry on Disguise. All of them 7 kills plus. No, we've already hyped up Fake God, giving some hype over to Meech. Young as well, spectacular player. Has a lot of fight still left in him and wants to see more when it comes to the pro space. I mean, he did get that moment where he was on the LCS stage. Ever since then, he was like, I can hang with them, and now he's showing that he can put his money where his mouth is with these 8 kills already picked up into this game, and this guy's looking to close out a 2-0.
And on one of his signature champs, no less, we know Young to be more of that melee specialist. Of course, the Zoe is something he liked to bring out in his times on Immortals AoE and on AoE main. But overall, when he's on these kinds of champions, you can see what he is able to do, especially with that Alistar ultimate.
There's no one for Fear to really try and focus down.
Nope.
Even if you go after Meech, Meech is wanting to die. Meech wants to be in that backline, just tearing it up with the rest of Disguised. Now here we go, 1-3-1 coming out from Disguised. They're going to be pressuring every lane.
Oh, JJ.
Support as well. Meech creates distance. JJ is in a bit of trouble at the moment. Does have Unbreakable used. It will time out now. Skies might go for the re-engage off of that. JJ critically low. Can't get close enough though. Fear now corralling around their Nexus towers, looking to go in as Philip, but gets dropped by Young. A big sword going right through his skull. And it looks like it's going to be a metaphor for what's going to happen on the rest of this game, on the rest of this series. Disguise looking to close out a 2-0.
Yeah, they don't even need the Dragon Soul. 3 inhibs down, waves coming through. One more pick is all it is going to take. They are so strong right now, Eric.
So strong. 5 stack. No Phillip for Fear. Last chance for Cincinnati Fear. Shochi gets low, has to bail out. Fake God running on the low side as well after using the Grand Challenge. Not able to proc it for the healing. Will take the recall. Has the teleport. Can just come right back in. Beat down. And it's going to be
another
a slow cry into the night finally. Here we go. Cincinnati Fear with their base on the line. It is Disguised who will destroy them. Stop the 2-0 streak. And stop getting ties on top of it. A 2-0 for Disguised.
And finally, that convincing victory you were looking to see. And there it is, everybody. Disguise stonks as they decimate, obliterate Cincinnati Fear.
What a performance in that game number 2. A big highlight out to Tomio, who, if you look at each and every one of these carries, a reminder, Tomio visited every single one of these lanes before 7 minutes and got them kills.
Yeah, it was unreal the map impact Tomio had this game, and it's a big reason why Perry was effectively not a player here in game 2. He couldn't do anything. His only option was to farm while the team was falling around him, while the map on their side of the rift was just on fire the entire time.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this series. We're going to have an interview with one of our winners from Disguise. Sierra will catch up with them and maybe talk about some investment portfolios. We'll be right back.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Verizon post-game interview. I have Fake God here to talk about that awesome 2-0 victory that we got to see, especially coming out from the squad. I feel like Disguise has so much talent, but we see these ties over and over. Getting that 2-0, especially such a strong one in that game too. How are you feeling after that?
Feeling pretty well. So, I mean, the second game was kind of a chaotic game because at a certain point they kept running it down in the lane and just dying and fighting over and over again. But I'm really happy we were actually able to close out a series with a 2-0 for like our second time. Only our second time somehow. I swear we win so many games, but I look back, we only have 2 2-0s and I'm not sure how, but yeah, I'm very happy.
I mean, let's talk about that a little bit looking back, because yeah, there's you on the squad, there's a lot of talent on the squad, but this is only the second 2-0. How's that happened so far in the split, and then how is that so drastically different than the performance we got to see today?
I think a lot of our wins, we were like capitalizing off like a single team fight, winning it really hard and then closing out. But honestly, we didn't practice a lot with more neutral situations, or situations where the goal lead was like not so far apart. It's like very even, and we have to like fight and like think our way out of a very close position. So a lot of our losses, they came from that kind of position where we weren't 100% sure how to play the game out from them. Like especially like me, like for the side lanes, like not knowing how to like go mid successfully on a few champions. Because with our wins before, we were using a lot of like side lane champions, and then just me and Young just being in the side, like pushing and then going into a team fight like that. But once they like ban all my 4 champions in top lane that can side lane, I'm forced to pick tanks, so I need to know how to do that better. And for our week of practice, I think we did a lot of improvement, especially like me and Young, like everyone honestly, like just playing with the 5v5 team comp in mind, and like playing with tanks and like knowing how to play around mid wave and play for the objectives correctly. So I'm really happy. It kind of showed. I don't know if it showed like this today, but because the first game, like we were all like side lane champs again. I was Jax, not a tank, but I'm still really happy we got the 2-0. I think we showed a bit of it, you know, like a bit of our improvement. I hope so.
Especially that game 2, because game 1 a little bit closer, but the game 2 we got to see pretty dominating victory coming out from Disguise. So that was really good to see, especially like your split so far, because I know in that episode of Between Two Buns that was with Joshi and Kangas that you did, talked about, you know, this player not quite yet in LCS, next one there. And I'd love to hear your thoughts during the summer split, how you're proving that you should be that next call-up, that is where we're going to be seeing you next.
Yeah, I'm just doing what I did for last split, just trying to perform really well and just like practice and do everything I can to just be a good player and like keep improving. So I'm not like expecting that at the end of the season to just like wait around and get like an LCS offer just waiting for me. My approach right now is just I'm just gonna do my best I can for the split and then see what offers or options I have for next year. Basically, I mean, it could be anything. At this point, I'm just gonna do my best and then see what happens and just choose from there. You know, I don't want to go into next year like expecting to go LCS and then like not have that happen, or not that I'm not confident about it, but I think I should just be looking to see what actually happens towards the end and just focus on doing my best in the present right now.
That makes sense. Focus on the right here, right now, even though I know that amongst the talent team, we definitely think there's great things in the future. And I'm curious too, I know you've talked about you want to be there next and you think that you're that next person. Is there anyone else on your team that you think is LCS ready or should be looking for that call-up maybe next year? Anyone you want to be shouting out in that regards?
I'll be honest, I think Zazel is definitely the closest one in that regard. Like he's definitely ready for like LCS if he just gets an offer, and he could just slot in at any time. I think the rest of my teammates, they're definitely good, but I think like especially like Young and Tomio, they're a bit too new to like just be thrown into LCS and did in super well. But I do think I think like with more time they could. I just feel like they're a little too new right now. And I think Meech is good too with his playing with from a 140 ping, but yeah. I think so, some of them they just need more time. I don't want to flame them, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
they're just
a time thing.
Yeah, they're just very promising rookies, you know? Like Tomio, especially like Tomio and Young.
Yeah, get the time
I'm not saying not Meech either, you know, Meech too. But Zazel is definitely the closest one.
Each with the 140 ping, you said?
Yeah.
Silly crazy. Our last question here, this one's going to be coming out from Twitch chat to keep it light. Coming out from Numi asking, what songs are in your pre-game hype playlist? Anything right before the match?
Okay, I used to like pick songs that were just like very more louder, but at this point I just default to going to YouTube and just typing like best of Chopin. I don't know if I said that correctly, and I always like listen to like the same stuff because it just helps me calm down and get into like the neutral state of thinking, because I don't want to be thinking too fast, and I don't want to be thinking like too slow and like not having enough energy. So it just gets me to the same state every time.
That
So
makes
yeah,
sense.
it's not like a specific song. It's actually just like a specific video. It's just always the same one
Just
at this
a
point.
just a vibe to get into that pre-game thought. So
Yeah, it helps a lot for me.
glad to hear, and it definitely helped today. Congrats again on that 2-0, Fake God. Before I let you go, if you have any final words or any shoutouts.
Thank you to everyone supporting DSG and Toast, and thank you to my parents, and thank you to my teammates, my coach, Bulungu, Grayson, and yeah. Just also, if you can go on Patreon, Toast, it's only for $5. It's everything goes to supporting DSG. You can I think you can see some really cool stuff about DSG, like behind the scenes. Some cool stuff he's not showing to the
content.
public probably. It's patreon.com/disguised. Only for $5. I think yearly is 10% off. You know,
We got
messing
this-
that.
Yo, they
that's it.
trained you well. They trained you well. You know all the words. Congrats again. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Have a good rest of your night, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. As for us, first one of the day. Great series coming out, and hopefully another great series on the horizon as we have Supernova going up against Evil Geniuses Challengers. We're going to take a short break, but be back soon for our next series.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace. Find your drive.